What's good, y'all? This your country cousin, Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Peter Mac. Hey, man, get on up here, man. Kick your shoes off, pull you up one, and light you up one. You on the porch now. It's Pete McCorvey's Porch Talk. Let's do this.
What's good, everybody? This is your country cousin, Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Peter Mac, and welcome back to the porch once again. Hey, man, we gonna start this one off right. So, I've seen Michael. You know, Michael came out yesterday. I was able to get the hookup and see it Wednesday, 2 days in advance. I'm gonna tell y'all this. That was a good movie. I'm not gonna say it's one of the best biopics out there, but it was definitely a good movie. Shout out to Jafar Jackson. When I tell y'all, nephew nailed his uncle, hey man, he got it down to the T. Oh my God. It was even some scenes in there. The way he looked, if I thought that they was CGIing Michael Jackson's face on that boy's body. And that's also a testament to the people who did the makeup for it. That movie was, oh my God, he nailed all the performances, the music videos he recreated. It was spot on. So also shout out to Coleman Domingo. Like everybody was saying, is he gonna beat out Lawrence Hilton Jacobs for him being Joe Jackson American Dream? Yeah, he did. He beat him out. Now, Nia Long, while she looked like Catherine, she beat out Angela Bassett. But then again, that's Angela Bassett. That's Auntie. You know, y'all know Auntie. She when she treat acting like Jordan she treat acting like Jordan treats playing basketball. She come to win. So, yeah, definitely go see the movie. It's a couple of things in there that I was like, what the hell? But, hey, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to save that one for my other podcast, you know, my movie review podcast at the movies. Cause, that's going to be coming in about a month. Because next week, y'all know I'm doing Sugar Hill, and I'm not going to push that back. When I tell y'all I'm going to do something, I'm going to stick with it. But in about a month, wait for a Michael review. By that time, shouldn't be no spoilers. If you ain't seen it by then, hey, that's your ass. You get it on streaming or bootleg it. But we ain't finna be, we live in a microwave era. After about, I'm gonna say a week or two, all this, I ain't seen it yet, that's your ass. Like, we ain't finna hold that up for you. Music is doing pretty good. So last week, Snoop Dogg dropped an album called 10 to Midnight, straight banger, man. Oh my God. Y'all know Unc don't ever miss, so I'm not surprised that that album was a banger. L.E. Dollar Sign, he usually drop his stuff on Monday. He dropped something this past Monday. It's called Growth and Development. That name kind of scared me. Hey, if y'all people active, y'all in the streets, y'all know somebody who knows somebody, y'all familiar with Growth and Development. I ain't gonna say who changed their name to that from what it was, but y'all know he's one of my favorite lifestyle rappers. Straight vibe, straight chill. Like I always say, it's something I can picture myself sitting on the balcony or laying on the couch, looking at the mountains, looking at the ocean at sunset, you know, either sipping on something, smoking a cigar, or smoking, you know, that wacky tobacco, if that's what you into. Definitely that from top to bottom, no misses. And also, Kehlani and Leon Thomas, both of them can't miss. Y'all know both of them, they drop bangers. You know, Leon Thomas killed it with that Mutt last year, early this year. And Kehlani just killed it this past few months before that. Well, them two hooked up together and gave us Sweet Nothings. I don't know why they call it Sweet Nothings, because that shit was some sweet something. Boy, hey, they was, ooh, Who would have thought we needed them two together? Man, that song is definitely finna be in heavy rotation with me. And if NFL draft is going on, a lot of people saying they happy with their team's picks. I ain't watching, you know what I'm saying? I've been out the loop. I've been ripping and running. Like I told y'all, I got something I'm trying to work on that's gonna have a big change for me for this year. So that's not really in my primary focus right now. But I have looked at the NBA playoffs a little bit. I'm a little deterred by the NBA playoffs. I'm going to tell y'all why I'm deterred by the NBA playoffs. I'm deterred by the NBA playoffs because Phoenix is down 0-2 to OKC. And I'm really not a Phoenix Suns fan per se, but you know, Devin Booker is from my hometown of Moss Point, Mississippi. So, D-Book, man, what's going on, man? Y'all got to battle back. Now, Philly and Boston, boy, they taking it back to, like, when they was going gun for gun in the 60s and in the 80s, man, when they had, you know, John Havlicek, Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, and then for Philly, they had Hal Greer, Wilt Chamberlain, and in the 80s when it was Larry Bird, Dennis Johnson, Kevin McHale for the Celtics, and for Philly you had Daryl Dawkins, Dr. J, Maurice Cheeks, and then later Norm Nixon after he left and went to the Sixers from the Lakers. Yeah, they going 1-1 because one of my homies, he from Philly. And he like, I don't like what I'm seeing with Cleveland. I mean, not Cleveland, with Boston right now. Said they beating that ass, but hey, they going gun for gun, man. So big ups to everybody in the playoffs, man. I really ain't got a dog in the fight. Like I said, I haven't watched NBA ball in a few years like that. It don't excite me like it used to when I was little. You know, I grew up in the 90s with Jordan, Iverson, Charles Barkley, Pat Ewing. You know, that's when them boys used to go to war. Matter of fact, I was watching game 1 of the 1994 finals between the Knicks and the Houston Rockets. I'm looking at that first minute. You know, Mad Max will take to Hakeem Olajuwon dominating the paint, John Starks doing his thing, Patrick Ewing doing his thing. I'm looking at that now, the contact they had. If that was today's NBA, both teams would have been in the bonus before the first minute had elapsed. So, yeah, you know, that's what I came up on. So, like, this new NBA ball, it's not really that appealing to me. But there's still people out there that love the game. Y'all go watch the game. I'm be sitting somewhere chilling. Because like I said, I know, like I remember I told y'all I fell asleep on the Super Bowl. I know I'm probably going to be falling asleep. I got to sit there and watch potentially 7 of these games before these people move on and win the championship. Yeah, I don't think I can do that no more. Not in this era of the NBA. That's just me. But what I am paying attention to, though, so there's a podcast, and I got on hip to this podcast about sometime last year, and I tried to give a couple of episodes a whirl because the name was so intriguing. That's the Call Her Daddy podcast hosted by Alex Cooper. Man, her podcast is, she causing people uproar all over the internet, boy. So, this past month, it's starting to make its rounds on social media and everything. Now, she had Hilary Duff. Y'all remember Lizzie McGuire from the Disney Channel, and now she didn't grow up to be and then most recently on Hulu's original series, How I Met Your Father. Is that still going on? Did they cancel it? I haven't really seen advertisement for that. But now she was cute, but now Hilary Duff got bad. She was on there talking with Alex Cooper on the podcast, and she had mentioned how before she met her husband, she didn't really want to give her husband a shot because he was such a nice guy. She was just getting out of her last marriage, and she wanted to, you know, just have fun and wild out and do this, that, and the third. and all that. It's got people like, not Hillary Duff. Damn, we thought she was one of them ones. We thought she was a good one and all that. But before I saw that, social media, I think it was the Shade Room, if I'm not mistaken, picked up something from Kate Hudson, where she was on the podcast and she said the same thing about the man she with now. Said she didn't really want him at first because he was a nice guy. Said the exact same thing on the exact same podcast. And everybody was up in arms. Everybody was losing their mind. Like, first of all, I want to say this. I'm kind of happy them two women said that. You know why I'm happy that both Kate Hudson and Hillary Duff said that? Because there's a lot of y'all out there be wanting to say that black women are chaotic. I'm like, black women don't like nothing but chaos and this, that, and the third, and whoop de whoop. Bro, it ain't exclusive to race. Trust me, it is not exclusive to race. So don't be making black women the scapegoats for shit that's just in a lot of women's nature, depending no matter what race they are. You know, I'm so sick of black women catching flack for shit that every other race has done. You know, like I hate the fact that everybody say, oh, black women got attitudes and this, that, and the third. That lets me know you truly don't fuck with a variety of women when I hear a man say that type of shit. Because I have dated, but let me just say dated because, you know, a lot of times we wouldn't date, but I'm going to try to keep it PG-13 for this part. I've quote-unquote dated pretty much the whole gauntlet. They all got attitudes. I'm going to be honest with you. You know the people who got the attitude worse than black women? But don't nobody want to talk about it. Actually, white women. And the reason why I feel that white women's attitudes are worse, because it comes from a place of entitlement. They feel like the world owe them something just because they white and they female. I'm going to tell you like this, saw it all the time in the military. Saw it all the time in the Navy. White girl will get there, don't have to do nothing, don't want to do no work, don't nobody want to say nothing to her because they scared to ruffle feathers because they don't want to look like they're attacking a white woman. I remember when I was on Theodore Roosevelt, I had this detail that I was NCOIC, that's non-commissioned officer in charge, but pretty much supervisor. Had this one little white girl in there, just a bitch. Just thought she could talk to anybody in the cavalry, regardless of what they rank in this, that, and the third. Now, she said something to another black girl, called her a bitch. And I said something to the people who were higher up than me. Because this white girl had numerous issues. Everywhere she went, they were moving around from team to team. She had numerous issues. So the young sister told the people and they waved off. Then I got pissed about it when I found out. I said, hey, why is this one girl get to say this to this and nothing been done? I said, now she has a history of just talking to people any kind of way. Why are y'all not running her through the ringer? Well, we don't know all the details. Fuck you mean you don't know all the details? I went off. I ain't getting these people was hired. I said, fuck you mean? We've heard the same thing about her over there that we're hearing about over here, that we heard about it from over in that other group. That's three different groups that heard the same damn thing about, almost damn near verbatim. But they was making up all kind of excuses. And I straight up said, I said, oh, I know exactly why y'all can't do it. And what's understood don't need to be said. And I looked all them people in the eyes and told them what it was. So I told her to do something. She's like, you can ask me. I said, no, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to tell you because this is an order. When you can ask me, I said, no, I don't have to ask you shit. I gave you an order because I rank you. That's how that worked. And then I said, man, I'm going to walk away. This little heifer decides she going to walk behind me talking shit. When I tell y'all I turned around and I cussed her smooth the fuck out, I'm no longer being PG-13. The look on her face, she just confused. She's like, I can't believe you're talking to me like that. You can't, you talk to me. I'm like, yeah, you ain't used to that. It's a new day, motherfucker. You ain't finna. The next day she came, hey, petty officer, I'm sorry. I said, no, it's cool. I said, don't ever try that shit again, though. I said, it's gonna be way worse. And she was just like, oh, she thought I was going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. No, I was like, no, I said, I stood on business with that and said, hey, it's cool. I said, don't ever try that shit again because it's going to be 10 times worse. You understand me? Never had a problem with him. Never had a problem with him. You deal with that type of stuff, and you know, it's not exclusive to race. Like I said, I'm tired of black women taking the fall and being the scapegoat for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just like with all y'all want to say is all black women want to do is get men they know ain't no good for them or no shit like that. No, that's not true. I've seen other races do that. I had a friend of mine, white woman, notorious for picking ain't shit men. There's a local friend of mine out in San Diego. I've just made friends with her. She was cool. I can tell I wasn't the type. I can tell the type of dude she like. She comes to one of my shows because unbeknownst to y'all, a lot of them white girls and some of them Mexican girls, like especially the one that whitewashed, they love that image of a rough, rugged cowboy. Especially if he's from Texas. Oh, he from Texas. Oh, they lose it. They just think, oh my God, he's pretty much what Rip on Yellowstone was. That's what they love. So she comes to one of my shows and she has a guy with her. Average, like, I'm gonna say the douchebag cowboy outfit. The cowboy trucker hat, the like graphic tee with like Coors on it or whatnot, you know, whatever they do, like the little faded Levi jeans and cowboy boots. So I see her walk up with him, and I told her, I said, hey, be careful. She's like, what you talking about? I said, I know exactly how this is gonna go, so what you mean? And he had tattoos. Let me put that in. He had tattoos too. I said, I know who. I said, this dude is your type. I already know. She's like, no, he's just a friend. He has a girlfriend. We just out and about. I said, it's Friday night, and he has a girlfriend. Why the fuck is he out here with you then? She's like, it's nothing like that. I said, like I said, be careful, because I know how this gonna go. So about a month or some change in, I went out to see, I'll never forget this. I went out to see, and she happened to be up, because I had the night. She happened to be up. She was just DMing. She knew I was out to see for much. Like, hey, you okay out there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And whoop de whoop. And we got to talking. And then I slickly threw something in there with it. And yeah, he turned out to be a piece of shit. And he dogged me out. I said, gee, he dogged you out. Gee, a man who went out with you on a Friday night when he had a whole girlfriend dogged you out. The shock of it all. She's like, yeah, you was right. I'm like, I know I was right. I said, I called it. I said, I knew exactly that dude was your type. So, you know, just stop saying they, like I said, all the sisters, that's all they want. It's all different flavors. Like, I have a family member who just has this thing where they saw I join the military, especially the Navy. Not join special now. I'm just saying my family don't like Asian women. This family member got something against Asian women. I'm like, what is your problem with Asian women? They were like, well, I was in the military. When I was in, I saw a lot of these guys get played by these Asian women, and Asian women ain't gonna do nothing but just take your money and hold you away from your family. And I told that person, I said, I've seen that happen with white sailors who marry white women. See that black sailors who marry black women. I've seen that happen with Hispanic sailors who marry Hispanic women. I said that has nothing to do with the fact that woman is Asian. That has something to do with the fact that boy she with is a punk. He ain't got no backbone. He don't know how to stand on business. But if I just don't want you with no Asian woman, I said, okay, so what do you do if it's an Asian woman and she happens to be born and raised here in America? I don't want her to take you home. So you don't want her to take me to Oakland? And they just sat there and looked stupid. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. One of the things on my bucket list is to date me like an Asian, like a Filipino, you know, a Vietnamese or Korean chick from the Bay Area. Because something about them, that they got that little hood swag about them. I don't know what that's a thing that kind of do it for me. That's a, maybe it could get a kink. I ain't gonna say it's a fetish, but I'll say maybe that's a kink for me. an Asian girl who got a little hood about her. I like that shit. But it's gonna be real kind of hard because I may not be hood enough for her. So it's a paradox, y'all. I know I got issues. I got issues. Don't judge me. I like what I like. I kind of, like I said, I want me one of them Asians. Like, y'all remember that, it's a video that's like on Facebook and YouTube with this dude. It's clearly the Bay Area because you can hear it in the dude voice. And he say hella. He walks up on this Asian girl. She like just a normal, just sweet, kind-hearted Asian girl. And he said, you was wrong for what you did. And the Asian girl looked confused. Then she go, what I do? And sound hood as hell. I said, oh, that's the Bay Area. I'm talking about, she sound like a straight sister. I want one like that. At least one time in my life. So, Father God, I know I told you to take me off your strongest soldiers list. But most of your battles you send me through as one of your strongest soldiers usually involve a woman. So if you could, if I gotta fight a battle, can that be the next battle you go? I know it might take me, she probably gonna take me through that. But dear Father God, just as a humble servant, just do that for me. That's all I ask of thee right now. That's all I ask of thee. In your holy son Jesus' name, I pray. But yeah, don't villainize it. But I just want to know this about, like I said, with her podcast. Why is it that every woman that's going on there seem like they just got to reveal that they really ain't attracted to nice guys and all? Because I'm saying every woman that's going on her podcast saying that. Why this podcast is either she just know how to bring that out of them, or either she like, look, I need you to get around to saying this. Just saying this because this is a brand. It's my brand, and I need to stay on brand for this. But I like everybody like losing their minds behind that. Like, man, look, ladies, don't let that shit in social media, influence you to think you gotta go through a bunch of bullshit to get to happiness. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. One thing I've started learning now that I'm older and I understand, because I read, like I said, y'all know I read. So I'm reading a lot of Terry. I've read a lot of Terry McMillan books. I read anything, and I want to see how they differ from the movies. For those y'all don't know, Terry McMillan, she's the author of like Waiting to Exhale, Disappearing Acts, I Still Got a Groove Back. And I'm looking at a lot of her stuff, and it seemed like Terry McMillan fucked a lot of black women's mentals up. Because she pretty much said you gotta go through hell before you can achieve happiness and love and all that. And like one of her books, what's it called? It's the sequel to Waiting to Exhale, Finding Happy. That shit was so damn depressing. But that was after she found out that her husband gay, which she lied to herself. Y'all remember that on Oprah back in the day, where her husband came out and was talking about how he revealed that he was gay. And boy, if you saw Terry McMillan face, boy, she was 38 hot. I'm looking, everybody, I remember they put on YouTube, we got to take it down because Terry McMillan probably must have had a problem with it. Everybody in them comments like, now Terry McMillan was desperate and lying to her fucking self. She couldn't see this boy was just as sweet as the peppermint that you get from the old sister in church. Because I'm like, come on now. You was that desperate for companionship, you couldn't tell. But yeah, don't be convinced that you got to go through a whole lot of bullshit, ladies, in order to get to what you want. But that podcast, that boy, it's ruffling some feathers. Alice Cooper, I don't know if you rage baiting everybody, but if you doing it, shout is working. All right, on to the next topic I want to talk about. People. People need to learn how to have some damn intelligence and common sense. Like, I swear to God, common sense is not so common. Or either that or it's waning as the days go by. It's just depleting the more and more we move forward as humanity. So, a lady of Mexican descent by the name of Ashley Gonzalez, who resides in Houston, Texas, decided she was going to have a racial rant. Apparently, her and her friends went out and some African-American tried to take her friend's purse, and she chased them down and said she started hitting with a heel. And then she was calling them the N-words with a hard R, chimps, apes, and all this type of stuff. Now, everybody think, okay, racist and all this type of third. But here's where the story gets deeper. Ashley Gonzalez was a member of the Houston Police Department. I'm sitting there thinking, what in the entire fuck? Like, damn, how stupid you gotta be to do that and post. But people say she didn't post. They say one of her friends posted it. So, big up to that friend that posted it. That means your friend didn't stand with you like you, all that, like, yeah, I don't fuck with none of that. So, big up to your friend. But I said was a member because apparently she got fired for that. And the person who saw her getting fired, it was Candace Matthews. Candace Matthews came on there and said, oh, now I'm putting belt to that ass. She said, I'm finna get your Texas Department of Corrections license revoked. You ain't finna get no other job in none of the 250-something counties in this state. I ain't know Texas had that many damn counties, but it makes sense because Texas is big as hell. She was not playing about that. And she said, we need to open up investigations. There's a lot of people been saying that they need to open up investigations about that, about all her arrests she to make. She said in the video, she said when she go to work the next day, she arrested every black person she can. She just send them all them, like I said, chimps, monkeys, and all that, and this thing and the third. But I love this for you. Know why I love this for? Because I love when you Hispanics think you can do shit and think you're on the same footing with white people. And then you find out you ain't on the same footing with white people. Oh, it makes my heart smile. It's a beautiful thing to see. Because not only you don't realize you're not on the same footing as white people, I'm going to say this like I said before, y'all really bigger niggas than we are. Y'all never realize that shit. And y'all don't realize till it's too late. But when y'all see it, I love that for y'all. I love every fucking second of that for y'all. Because it's a beautiful thing to watch y'all realize y'all ain't white. You can marry them, you can act like them, you can talk like them. You're not them. And they gonna remind you that shit every day. But you got the nerve to look down on us. I hate to say it, but shit like what she did, it's a reason why a lot of us want to stand on the front line when ICE was doing what they were supposed to be doing. Well, not what they supposed to be doing. Let me take that back. No, why ICE is doing this bullshit they doing. That's why we ain't coming to y'all. A lot of us ain't coming to y'all defense for what? Then y'all had the nerve talking about, oh, you guys up next. I said, clearly y'all motherfuckers don't read history books. We were first. Hell, we still going through it. Y'all being shocked by all this shit. We sitting back like M. Bison on the 1994 movie Street Fighter. For me, it's Tuesday. But y'all really think y'all up. And then what pissed me off, she mentioned that she was in the, she said she felt like being able to say the N-word, she felt like she was in the Marine Corps again. And people lost their shit. Oh my God, I can't believe she was in the Marine Corps. You need to check. First of all, let me tell y'all this. Y'all can stop with all that goddamn fake outrage about the military having racists in it. Let me tell y'all something. I am born and raised in Mississippi, South Mississippi, the Gulf Coast. It gets no southern than that. Any southern than that, you in international waters. You're in the Gulf of Mexico. You're not even in the country no more. And growing up in South Mississippi, I promise you, I have not ran into the amount of racism by volume as I have until I got in the military. Oh, I've ran into it so much. And the people I run into the most are fucking Hispanics, mainly the Mexicans. They got it in for black people. I've had a couple of them do it. I had one racist chief petty officer on my first boat. You had to go do maintenance checks with him, spot checks. If I didn't know about spot checks, he would give the Hispanic guys and the white guys, let them do the easiest fucking checks. He would send black people through the wire. Everything. He did one. I did a check with him one day. And then I did the same check with him again. He said, what's this? And I told him, and he said, that's not what that is. I said, yes. He said, nah, bullshit. That's not what that is. And he said, I said, Chief, I'm not going to play these games with you. What is it? He says, I literally just said that to you. Oh, I didn't hear. I'm like, how did you not hear? You standing 2 feet from me. So we were about to go so one time he did the check with me. He ran it through so much, I had to miss lunch. But luckily for me, my boy, I knew a couple cooks on there, I could eat lunch anyway. Then the next time we had one, I did everything I was supposed to do, but I walked in, I said, I'm a failure. I'm like, what? He said, you go show me stuff, I'm a failure. What? He said, well, you wasn't holding on to the banister while we was going down. You didn't have 3 points of contact. I'm like, dude, I got a box. I said, no. So I went and talked to his officer. I said, hey, man, that little fat motherfucker is playing with me. And I'm finna report his ass. So you need to tell him he need to back the fuck off. And his officer went and talked. He was a younger guy, but he went and talked to him. And then he tried to come. So you went and reported him? I said, you fucking right, I reported you. And I said, if you want to keep on doing it, I'm going above you. I said, we not doing these fuck games no more, Chief. I'm not playing with you. So then when I leaving the ship, I had to check out. He comes to me and was like, oh, before y'all check you out, you got to do another spot check. I looked him dead in the face and said, I ain't doing another motherfucking spot check for you for my remaining time on board this fucking ship. And you can respect that, you can check that. I'm never doing another spot check with you. And he looked at me like, I said, yeah, I ain't doing nothing with you. He looked at me like, how dare you? I was like, bro, I don't care about your fucking rank right now. You're a bigot. Then I got to Georgia and had a Mexican woman who was a chief. She went out of her way to try to talk down to black sailors. She would blatantly put the white sailors or the Hispanic sailors we had, she'll put them, both, it'd be 2 situations. Black sailor have a situation, she lose her fucking mind. White and Hispanic sailor have a situation, she'd overlook like, so it was 2, I remember it was 2 sailors there, they were both pregnant. One was Hispanic, one was black. I like both of them. One was the black one was my LPO, the other one, she actually was helping me out during a difficult time. She was cool. I couldn't drive on base for a certain reason, and she was giving me a ride, the Hispanic one. They both pregnant at the same time. So the black sailor is pregnant, and of course, you know, women pregnant, they have a lot of appointments. She hears this. I'm getting sick of all these damn appointments. She need to do. I'm like, she's pregnant. And threw me for a loop, cause like, wait a minute, you just came back from maternity leave your damn self. You just pregnant your damn self. You just had a baby. What the fuck? But the Hispanic one, my other hunger, her husband work using, they come by there, they walk around all day long. She ain't got shit to say. Now she came to one of my friends wrong, being racist. And he was going to file a report against. I said, I back you up on that report. I said, let me know you need characteristics. I got you. He let somebody talk him down from that, which I got real pissed about. I said, you should have not did that. So she trying to run damage control. I can't believe this. And I can't believe they put that up. I seem like I come at everybody correctly. She started going around the office. Have I come at you wrong? She said, somebody else, have I came at you wrong? I'm on the computer typing. I'm like praying. I was like, Father God, if you don't want this woman's feelings get hurt, you better do like you did Moses and the rest of the Hebrews when they put the blood of the lamb on their doorposts and pass me over. I let her pass me over. I promise you, because it's not going to be good. I heard McCorvey. I was like, here we go. She says, I came at you wrong. I put my hands off the computer, pulled my chair back, got myself up straight, and said, yes, you have. You came at me wrong a few times. It was never warranted. And I said, I know why you asking this question. I said, if I was him, I wouldn't have rescinded that complaint. I said, I actually told him to follow through with it. I told him not to rescind it. Because I know why you asking this question. I went right back to typing. She just had a shocked look on her face. And I looked like, but you want me to put syrup on shit and tell you it was pancakes? You didn't. And then she walked off, kind of got her feelings hurt. And my boss, that's the black pregnant chick I was telling you about. She's like, now McCorvey, you shouldn't have. I said, no. She asked me a question. I told her the fucking truth. She didn't like it. That's tough shit. I said, she know what type of person she is. She know what type of person she is. And I remember, you know, like how sometimes you have people on Facebook you may know when you stay somewhere. So something happened, somebody put something up, and I put something up. After I transferred, and she had been transferred too. And I put something up, she got underneath my comments, oh, I agree with Pete. And then I said, man, I don't want you to agree with me on shit. I said, you a trash human being. And she was like, oh my God, blocked me and everything like the coward she was. And everybody was like, damn, I said, oh no, I don't work for her no more. I ain't finna hold nothing back. I don't give a fuck about her rank and mine. I don't work for you no more. I don't hear the rank when we out in the street. Hell, I flipped off chiefs in traffic in San Diego in uniform. And they was like, what the fuck? I said, bitch, we ain't on base. Give a fuck about this shit. Get your goofy ass out the street. And as far as talking about she in the Marines and all this, I'ma drop some history on y'all. The Marines was the last branch of military service to desegregate. 1942. All black service member had to go to Montford Point in North Carolina. Look that up. Look up Montford Point Marines. And even then, even though they integrated, you know, they still was putting us in certain jobs. We couldn't get all that. But the military didn't, not the military, the Marine Corps didn't fully integrate into 1960. My grandmother just celebrated her 93rd birthday last Saturday, a week from today. She is 9 years older than the Marine Corps being segregated. That's the woman who had my father, who was born in 1956. He was 4 years old when the Marine Corps finally decided to fully integrate. That means, quote unquote, equal opportunity for everybody, which is bullshit because the military don't do that shit. They can talk all that shit they want to. They don't do that. But you want to sit there and make me believe that there's no racism in the military. Matter of fact, I got a lot of friends who have been in the Marine Corps over the years. They've all told me, majority of them, about 85% of them, my family and friends, told me the worst NCO they served under was always a Mexican person. That was black. My family was black. They said it was a Mexican person. And it's not, and let me not say this, it's not against Mexicans, because I'm be honest, I don't think that girl is from Texas. I don't think she's from Texas, because I'm going to be honest, every Mexican I met from Texas, cool than a motherfucker. Not saying you don't got no race, because you got race everywhere, but every Tejano, that's what Mexicans call themselves from Texas, every Tejano I ever met, cool as hell. Hell, I got one right now, it was like my big homie in the Navy, my boy Tony, from Houston, South Park. You talk to him on the phone, you think you talking to a brother. I know I didn't call him a few times, and I be forgetting I'm talking to a Mexican cat. And stand-up dude, I remember one time, like after I just broke up with a girl I was dating, I was in my feelings, and I was supposed to, he's like, nah man, we gonna go out tonight. I went over to his house, him and his wife was there, and I was like, bro, I might have to catch your couch. We gonna go downtown drink, cause Tony was a BM. So you know, Mexican and BM. Oh yeah, we finna drink. This is back when I was drinking. I said, bro, I'm gonna have to catch your couch. Tony looked at me like, bro, you ain't had no choice. He looked at his wife like, this motherfucking thing thought he had a choice. He said, you ain't got no choice. He said, you damn right you catching that couch tonight. You ain't finna kill yourself or go to jail. You know? So that's why I said I think she from like, it's that one little pocket where you see a lot of it. That's like Southern California. I'm gonna say from like Ventura County to San Diego County. That's where you're gonna find that pocket. A majority of Mexicans that don't like black people like that. And then she said something else that kind of tipped me off to something else too. Because she said the N-word with a hard R. But then a few minutes later, she said, I'm happy I can say nigga again. I feel like I'm back in the Marine Corps again. When she said it with that A, something hit me. And I'm going to tell y'all what really happened. So, this is what I feel why Ashley Gonzalez went on that rant. She done fuck some black dudes. She fuck black dudes. I can tell she do. She fuck black dudes. What it is, she messed with a black dude who knocked the sonic rings out of her ass. And then dogged her. Just a dog ass nigga. And she felt stupid. And the reason she felt stupid, because I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, she was warned, don't fuck with him. But instead of having accountability for her actions and picking a dude she knew was obviously wrong for her, now she got to blame, well, black folks is this and black folks is that. I guarantee y'all, if we research this, there's some black penis in her past. I guarantee you. But I will say this to Ashley Gonzalez, you better get your ass out of Houston. Because for you to say that in Houston, or say they got a large black population, you don't value your health and safety too much. You really don't value your health and safety too much. And to be honest with you, I want you dog walk. I want you beat to sleep. I really want you beat to sleep. I hope that happened for you. And I hope it's one of them ignorant ass girls too. Them ignorant, loud ass 44-inch Remy wearing in her hair, always leaving her babies at her grandmama's house while she go to the club and drink Tito's and don't want to eat nothing but lemon pepper all flat wings. I'm hoping one of them run into you, she beats your ass down. Not beat you up, I want you to get beat down. Because you earned it. You earned it. You earned every bit of it, man. Now on to my recap for The Rookie. So, this episode of The Rookie, I'm glad they got back to business, man. This episode of The Rookie, I like what they did with this one, you know. Y'all remember old Liam Glasser, who playing mind games with Nyla and almost got her kicked off the force. He had an attempt on his life, and so y'all know he's a witness to something real big for LAPD. So Nolan and Penn, that's Miles' first name, they gotta guard him. But Nolan has to escort him to court because he has custody hearing for his son. Meanwhile, y'all know Wesley has left the DA's office and started his own defense law firm. Monica, who used to mess with Wesley, she hooks him up with a potentially wealthy client, but not a potential, with a wealthy potential client who's played by Troy Garrity. Y'all don't know that dude? That is Isaac from the Barbershop movies. Meanwhile, Nyla and Angela, it's funny that she did that because they have a missing persons case they're working, which is connected to the wealthy client that Monica hooked Wesley up with. And it's so fun, I ain't gonna lie, it was hot seeing Angela and Wesley fight against each other like they did when they first met, when she was in uniform and he was a young defense attorney. boy, I ain't gonna lie. It was, I know that for them as characters, not really, I know for them as characters, I know that's gotta make for some hot sexual tension. But they probably be getting it on, man. So this episode, thank God y'all went this episode. Oh yeah, and also I left this out. The big thing about this, Tim asked for his grandmother's ring from his mom because he's thinking about proposing to Lucy. But that ring was ugly hell, y'all. Ooh, that ring was an ugly piece of shit. He said luckily he went and found out it was all glass, so that saved him the embarrassment from telling his mom, I can't give Lucy this ugly ass ring. But I love this episode. It was a great change from that bullshit we had last week with the documentary style. But I noticed this in this episode. We had a barbershop reunion because Sean Patrick Thomas, who plays Liam's attorney, Malcolm Walsh, was in barbershop with Troy Garrett. As a matter of fact, you know, he was Jimmy, the dude going to college, Sean Patrick Harris. Not Sean Patrick Harris, Sean Patrick Thomas. I'm thinking about Doogie Howser. He was the rival of Troy Garrett, his character Isaac. So it was like, I remember halfway through, I was saying, oh shit, this barbershop reunion. I wonder if they sat up and they talked about that or caught up with each other, anything like that, man. But yo, good episode. I like the writing in this one, man. Keep that up for the rest of the season, y'all. Anyway, that's been my time on the porch. I thought I was going to be shorter than this because I was flying off the cuff because I actually have something I got to go do. But hey, I love talking to y'all. But y'all know where to find me. Find me on Facebook, search my name. Follow me on Instagram, PeteMac10, PeteMac10. Or follow me on TikTok, PeteMac89, PeteMac89. This is like the Instagram just dropped a 1 and a 0 and put an 8 and a 9 in this place. Until next week, y'all, be cool, stay calm, and get paid. Peace.